Yo, and welcome back to Action Thraxin. My name's Jackson. So, one positive, one negative. The negative was on the 7.26K, the distance was not where I wanted it to be, nowhere near. It was actually less than yesterday, but I will say the technique was there. So, I got to pick my battles. On the positive, I had a good time today. I kind of bulled it around. I ran around a little bit. I danced to some music. I had a good time. I didn't take myself too seriously, and that's part of really the hammer throw in general. That's part of being a track athlete. You can't you can't take this shit too seriously. You really can't. You kind of gotta enjoy it in stride, because if you take it too seriously, you're just gonna burn yourself out. But yeah, I had a good day today as far as me having fun. Um, I listened to a lot of music and I danced a little bit. And yeah, I think I felt the fatigue at some point in the practice, but did I give a shit? No, I didn't. It's more about, at that point, fighting through the technique and making good throws. It's not about how you feel. Because Coach Long told me this a long time ago. He said, Javon, if you're not having fun, then you're just not going to enjoy it. And I've kind of implemented this into my practice habitualities, if you will, because it's hard. It's definitely hard. It's easy. It's easy. Let me take that mindset away. It's easy if you're having fun. So I have to find a way to have fun all the time. But anyways, I did the bird dogs. I did the glute med. I was able to sprint, actually. That was not on the regiment for the warm up, but I got a couple sprints in. I enjoy doing that. But I don't know. I don't know what the best warm up is for me. It's a combination of all these things. I'm trying to figure that out. This is just kind of my experimentation. But the problem is, you do need to be warmed up, and I even think that the what's it called? The wood, the bell, not the bell, but the drills. I think that they help you warm up. I remember Sean Donovan saying that he does not do a dynamic warm up. He will do the drills. So, and I kind of questioned him about this before he gave me that program, and I called him out about it. I said, "Am I supposed to do a dynamic warm up or what?" But no. The matter of the fact is can you get warm? You have to get warm before you start throwing, and if you can't get to this point, you're just going to take a bunch of bad throws. This is the bottom line about it. It doesn't matter how you do it, but there's a million ways to do it. But anyways, I took 10 throws with the 7.26K. I was pretty decently consistent with it. These were kind of low intensity throws. I was over the legs on the finish. I was pushing through the ball on every turn. I did not get the distance that I wanted, but I was kind of happy with what I was executing, so I cannot complain about that. I switched to the 5K at some point, and I took probably about 10 throws with the 5K, and I can feel myself be able to lift the 5K a little bit more than I can the 7.26, but the bottom line about it is it all has to transfer. It all has to transfer. So the lift that I want to create is not occurring on the 7.26, but the 5K, I am able to create that lift without too much of a struggle. This is kind of a big note. You really have to lift the hammer in order to throw it far. You have to. And whatever is going to teach you that, you need to do it. I realized, so here's what I kind of realized halfway through this. I probably should have picked a little bit of a heavy hammer to combo with the 7.26, but I picked the 5K, and hey, I'm going to hammer it out for the next few days. I'm going to pick a heavier hammer after that, because you can't throw something for a couple of days and expect to produce a result. I can't switch this second. It's not going to be fruitful for me. I'm going to stick to the combination that I picked. Next week, I will pick a heavier combination. Probably, it'll probably be the 14 or the 6K with the 16 pounder. But that's no worries. It's going to be a process. So you need to be consistent in your training somewhat. You have to be. And that's just something that I learned from kind of getting that program that I bought. He's on the right track, but I don't know if he's on the right track for me. And he put some thought and a lot of thinking into that. I'm going to stick to it the best that I can, but the bottom line is the turn throws, I get frustrated. So that's why you saw me experimenting with that the other day. I started off this week is really about the cardiovascular endurance. I think that this goes remiss with hammer throwers and just Olympic lifters as well. You do need that cardiovascular endurance. It's one of those things that it will help you do what you need to do, but you're not going to see the results immediately. So I am going to take this week as a whole and try to input as much of that as I can. I ran a mile, came across the line probably 9:20, 9:30-ish, kind of a slow mile. That's something for me to think about because as far as hammer throwing, as far as like the sprint, as far as the sprint with the quick twitch muscles, I think that this has its place, but it has to be placed correctly. So I want to implement, I'm probably going to run 400s and run them at a little bit of a quicker pace. I'm going to figure out what that pace is. And then I think it very, very much so will help me throw the hammer further. There's something about the cardiovascular endurance that I think it's not put into a throwing program. It's just not. And I'm going to hit on that for the next week, probably week and a half or so. And then I will taper off and I will focus on the throws. But I ran the mile. I got on the bike for 8 minutes, almost 3 miles in 8 minutes, but not quite there. I'm going to keep track of what I'm able to accomplish in these cardiovascular endurance type things. My best row, and you're supposed to hit 2,000 meters in 8 minutes. It was about 750. So I think that this is a weird gauge, and like I said, I think that in throwing it gets remiss, but I'm going to make sure that I touch on it as much as possible because there's something about there's definitely a correlation there. Just being in shape in general, just the athlete being in shape, and I think that we focus on the distance, we focus on how far we're throwing a little bit too much, stroking the ego, etc., versus we need to focus on some of these other things. So I'm going to focus on that for I'm going to do as much cardio, build up a base, and then after that, I think I'm going to remove it and then focus on the Olympic lifts, the heavier Olympic lifts, but still keep in the cardiovascular and doing the best that I can. I put a watt or two into the Discord to try to model what I'm looking for, but it's not exact. The CrossFit workouts aren't what we're necessarily looking for. We want to train the thrower. We want to train the thrower as much as possible, but it's going to be a process. I'm guessing at a lot of things. I'm experimenting with a few things, but I ain't mad about it. So I'm enjoying this process. So that's just about all I got, guys. You already know what the deal is. Run your toes, keep your mouth closed, lock your doors, and save your throws. And most importantly, live to fight another day. The cardio definitely deserves its place. It definitely has its place. So, because I've lifted heavy. I've lifted very, very heavy. Probably more than the average hammer thrower. But it doesn't mean shit. So I'm trying to work the problem backwards and take certain variables into account, but it's easier said than done. So that's all I got, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna get out of here. Stay safe, lift heavy, throw heavy. and live to fight another day. It does not pay you to get hurt. It does not. So I'm going to say that 100 times. But I'm going to get out of here, guys. I'm going to get back in the lab. Peace.